Hi, this is Reddit Confessions channel. At 6:14 p.m. Exactly, she pulled into the driveway. The engine purred to a stop. The window slid halfway down. Her voice came out as casually as if she'd just returned from a grocery run, not from 4 nights away with a man whose name I still didn't know. Can you grab my charger from the nightstand? That was it. No hug, no smile, no hint of regret. Just a favor, tossed through a crack in the window like she still lived here. I didn't argue, didn't question. Not yet. I went upstairs. Past the bed she left unmade. The air smelled faintly like her shampoo, but her hairbrush was gone. So was her lavender perfume. So was the small pouch she kept in the drawer next to the bed. Only the charger remained. She'd left it on purpose. A pretext to return. When I handed it to her through the car window, she didn't even look at me. Just muttered, "We'll talk after I show her." And then the final line, "Let's fix this after my trip." The problem? The trip was over. At least, the one she'd told me about. 2. The message 3 days earlier. I got a message on my old Facebook account, the one I hadn't touched in years. No profile picture. A name I didn't recognize. Just one simple message: "You deserve the truth. Room 405. Parkview Inn. 8:30 p.m. Bring a jacket." I almost deleted it. Thought it was spam. But something inside me, that quiet voice you don't want to hear, told me to pay attention. So, while she thought I was helping my brother with car repairs, I booked a last-minute flight. Cash only. No trail. That night, I stood outside room 405, heart in my throat, and through the curtain that wasn't quite drawn I saw her. With him. She laughed. She touched his face. She tilted her head like she used to with me, but not like me. Softer. Different. I didn't storm in. Didn't knock. Didn't film or shout. I just stood there in the hallway, unseen. And when I'd seen enough, I left. 3. The envelope. When I returned home, I didn't speak. I just laid a single envelope on the kitchen table. Inside was a cocktail napkin from the hotel bar. Her lipstick still stained the edge. A silent souvenir from a life she thought I'd never see. She never mentioned it. 2 days later, she said she needed space. Said she was going back to reflect. But she left behind her favorite boots, her curling iron, her yoga mat. Things women don't forget unless they plan to return. It wasn't forgetfulness. It was a stake, a placeholder. She thought this house and I would still be here when she came back. She was wrong. 4. Unmaking the life. While she thought I was stunned, I was rebuilding. Or rather, dismantling. I closed our joint account. Removed myself from her car insurance. Changed the passwords on every streaming service and shut down the shared Amazon Prime. Small things. Quiet things. I made a spreadsheet. Every shared bill, every login, every overlapping commitment. I severed them all. Not out of spite. Out of necessity. So that when she came back, she'd walk into a life that no longer recognized her. 5. First contact day. Full. A message. "We should talk. Maybe next weekend." No greeting. No apology. No context. I printed it, folded it, slid it into the same envelope that had once held the lipstick-stained napkin. Then I mailed it. To her parents' house, the one address she never bothered to update. I said nothing back. The next day, she called. 3 times. On the 4th, I picked up. "Don't come here," I said. She paused. "What?" "I thought we agreed." "No," I said. "You agreed with yourself. I just didn't correct you." Her voice cracked, then steadied, then tried to take control. "Ryan, come on. This is our marriage." "You're right," I said. "You've done worse." I just finally noticed. And I hung up. 6. The visit Friday came. So did she. 6:02 p.m. Earlier than she said, because she always needed to control the clock. She parked in the driveway, but didn't get out right away. I watched from upstairs. She stared at the house like it wasn't hers anymore. Because it wasn't. The deed had been changed. The locks replaced. Even the mailbox now bore a single name, mine. After 5 minutes, she finally rang the bell. Then again. Then once, quietly, as if she didn't want to wake something that was already dead. I didn't move. Eventually, she walked back to her car and drove away. No breakdown. No pleading. Just retreat. 7. The other man, and another the next morning, my phone rang again. Unknown number. Is this Ryan? A male voice asked. Depends. Who's this? My name's Grant. I think we both know Leah. He wasn't the man from the hotel. He was someone else. Someone she had met months ago. At a yoga retreat in Arizona. While still living here. She told him she was separated. Said I was cold. That I cheated first. He believed her. She cried when she said it. He told me. I just wanted you to know. I feel like she's done this before. I thanked him. That call didn't hurt. It confirmed everything. 8. The watching begins, but Leah didn't stop. She started watching the house. Parked down the block. Showed up at the edge of the street. Pretending to scroll her phone while glancing toward the windows. She never knocked. She knew she'd be ignored. One afternoon, she came to the porch. I heard the creak of the step she used to complain about. Then a letter slid under the door. -1 pages. A monologue of confusion. Excuses wrapped in metaphors. Twisted memories. She didn't ask for forgiveness. She asked for understanding. Which is worse. Because understanding is manipulative when it's not paired with accountability. 9. A new name, but Leah had miscalculated something. She wasn't the story anymore. I was. The night before she reappeared, I met someone. Not a date. Just conversation. Her name was Mara. She ran a welding studio. We met at the mechanic. She told me my rear suspension sounded bored. We laughed. She didn't ask about my past. She didn't try to dig. She just handed me her card and said, if you ever need to hit metal with a hammer, swing by. That night, I slept straight through. Not because I was falling in love. Because I wasn't drowning anymore. 10. The final attempt. Leah returned again. This time, she somehow got inside. Maybe it'd forgotten to lock the sliding door. Maybe she had a copy of the old key. I walked into the living room and there she was, standing in the middle of the floor like she belonged. She looked around. What is this? This, I said, pouring a glass of water, is my home. But this is ours. I turned. You didn't want this life. You just didn't want me to be the one to end it. She stared at me like she didn't recognize me. You're serious? I nodded. You told me to wait until after your trip. So I waited. And I made sure there'd be nothing left to fix. She left without a word. And that was the last time I saw her in this house. 11. The story she tried to tell 3 days later, I heard from people we used to know. Apparently, I was now unstable, angry, emotionally distant. It didn't sting. It just proved I was right to walk. I gathered everything, the texts, the voicemails, the receipts, the recordings from the security system she insisted we install. Everything. Not to fight. To defend myself if she ever tried to burn what remained. I didn't spread it. Didn't react. But I was ready. 12. My story now. I never expected to tell my side. But then a friend introduced me to a journalist. Not for gossip. For stories about emotional manipulation. About healing. I didn't name her. I didn't have to. The journalist said, she built the fire. You just chose not to stay in it. I sent the files. Then I wrote Leah one final message. Don't contact me again. If you do, I won't respond. I'll simply tell the truth. She never replied. And the silence that followed wasn't cold. It was clean. 13. The burn. 1 month later, I stood in the backyard. I held the final letter she sent me. -1 pages. Tears. Manipulations. Ultimatums. I didn't read it again. I didn't need to. I set it on fire. Not with rage. With release. As the flames consumed her looping handwriting, I felt something I had in years. Myself. 14. After her, there were no more messages. No more surprise visits. No more narratives. Just mornings. Coffee. Sunlight through the blinds. I fixed the fence. Gave away the winter coats we never wore. Cooked dinner for one, and it was enough. And Mara? She didn't ask about Leah. She never needed to. She asked about me. Do you ever think about who you'd be if this had happened? I said, yeah. It'd still be shrinking to fit someone else's life. She smiled. So who are you now? And I said, without hesitation, someone worth becoming.